Is this the end of the NFL Network? Sports Business Journal just had a story out over there that gives us some look at the future of the NFL Network and what that means. This comes as Comcast about a week ago pulled the NFL Network from its lineup, and with that, at the first they were kind of nice. Oh, just because we weren't able to get everything done, ESPN now runs them. Now it seems like it could be a little bit deeper, and there's a big fight over what the future of the NFL Network looks like and what Comcast is willing to pay if it's not going to be what it once was. Now with this, keep in mind the NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, and NFL Fantasy Sports was sold to ESPN in a deal that gave the NFL 10% ownership of ESPN. We're going to break down everything with this, my thoughts on it and more, and let you know what this means for the future of the NFL Network. If you like this kind of content, we try to help you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. You can find a link to the story I'm about to talk about in the show notes down below. All right, a few things here. Sports Business Journal says one of the main fights here is over the NFL games. The Comcast wants reassurances that the NFL Network will continue to show, I think it's 7 live NFL games every season. According to the report, Comcast has not received any confirmation that the NFL Network will continue to show the games it once did. That's part of the fight. Also, ESPN wants the NFL Network put into a basic tier of Comcast TV packages. It's been moved into kind of a digital package, a little bit more expensive one. Comcast has been moving many of their sports networks into more expensive. For example, pretty much all of their RSNs at this point are in the most expensive package out there. With that, so not surprised that Comcast wants to put it in more expensive packages, because the number one thing people want to watch nowadays is live sports. Well, with that, they want to keep live sports going, so they've switched many people over to higher packages by putting sports channels there. So what's happening here? Well, for one, ESPN is now in charge of the negotiations, and they don't seem at all interested in giving Comcast any reassurances at all. Now remember, when this deal was done, Disney came out and said, hey, we really do want to keep the NFL games we have and get more. You could see how they could take the 7 games on the NFL Network, now that they're owner, and maybe switch them to ESPN. Something that it seems that Comcast is a little worried about. Not so much that they'll be on ESPN. They already pay for ESPN. It's already in their basic packages. I think they're more worried about paying a premium for the NFL Network if it doesn't have live games. While people may still watch it, live games are the number one reason why people watch TV. That's why we've seen things like True TV be rebranded into a sports network, airing a lot of sports content now. CW has leaned heavily into the sports out there with Live Golf, NASCAR, college sports, and more with it. We've seen that happen. And you see things like pickleball tournaments in prime time on CBS. Well, that's happening because it's profitable for them to do that with it all. Overall, I'm very interested in how this is all going to play out. For one, does this mean that, well, maybe not all the NFL games are going to move, but some, if not most of the games? I think that is what Comcast is very concerned about. If that does happen, it really does make the NFL Network a little bit redundant out there with it. And you kind of wonder what the future of it is. While it will definitely continue to have 24/7 sports, why would ESPN, for example, have live NFL sports coverage on the NFL Network for the draft, for example, and on ESPN at the same time? It would probably be a lot cheaper, a lot more economical to simulcast on both one feed, one cast, one set of talking heads, one set of cameras, and the like. So you can see why Comcast is scratching their head on the future of it. Well, I don't think the NFL Network is necessarily going to just shut down. I do wonder about what it's going to look like going forward. It's probably going to be a fraction of what it once was. We see a decline in the amount of content. If that happens, a lot of TV companies like Comcast, DirecTV, Dish, and others are definitely going to be thinking twice about what they're paying, because they view the network's big appeal being it's unique, it's different, it carries live games. If that's no longer there, and key moments are simulcast both on ESPN and the NFL Network, you can see their concern. Will ESPN definitely do that? I don't know. Their apparent refusal, if this story is correct, to release or to give Comcast reassurances that the sporting events will continue on the NFL Network is a big red flag to me. You know, ESPN has made it very clear they want as much NFL content on ESPN as possible. They're not alone. And, you know, CBS wants that, Fox wants that, NBC wants that, Amazon wants that, Netflix wants more sporting content. They've made that very clear. In the long run, it raises questions, though, about television, consolidation, and others. Will the NFL Network just be like an alt-cast? Or are we going to have a Manning-style TV coverage over on the NFL Network as ESPN airs the main game? If so, does that devalue the network and make them less willing to pay for it and make them less willing to put it in the basic tier? A lot of back and forth here. Remember when the first statement came out? I had a call from Comcast for a statement. They gave us a statement. It was a very fluffy, nice statement. Just like, hey, you know, ESPN just took over. We're working out the details. Within 24 hours, I got a second statement from Comcast with a much more aggressive, hey, we're not willing to pay what the network's not worth. They're asking too much money. The standard, like, hey, we're trying to protect your wallet. The cable network's not asking too much. For that big shift, to me, tells me something happened. That the NFL Network was a lot less either cooperative with ESPN executives than what Comcast thought, or maybe a new set of expectations or a deal they thought was about to get done wasn't. But I would buckle up. Last time it took a few months for a deal to be reached between Comcast and the NFL Network. But during that time, the NFL's chairman actually came in, commissioner, whatever they call the person that runs the NFL, came in and he asked ESPN to, Comcast to restore the NFL Network as negotiations went through. This time I don't expect that to happen. So question to you, how important is the NFL Network to you? If they lose all 7 of their games, how often would you really watch it? Or would it just kind of be something that you no longer paid much attention to? I think for many people, that is it. A lot of people love football, college football, NFL football, all that, but they're not necessarily sitting all day watching the NFL Network for talking heads on it. They pay attention during games, maybe right before the start of the season, and watch the games, but not necessarily all the highlights. Increasingly, we've seen it. Highlights and more are more popular on YouTube now than they are on ESPN and more. And why is that? Well, you can sit for an hour to get a 45-second maybe highlight of your game, or you can go to YouTube, type in the game you wanted to see the highlights from, and get an extended 20-minute highlight, 10-minute highlight, in-depth conversations, and more without needing to watch a bunch of other teams you may not necessarily care about or other games you're not interested in. And that's why ESPN and others have seen their daytime talk show viewership struggle, advertising struggle, and they've been leaning into getting more sports. So you leave me a comment, let me know what you think. The future of the NFL Network, though, is definitely changing under ESPN. Just exactly what is it going to look like is still unknown. You can find a link to the story in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. Until next time, take care, be safe. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you all again real soon here. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. Take care, be safe. Have a great day, everybody.